All righty, a thumbs up. You can all see my screen okay? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so very much for joining us. My name is Carmen Downs. I'm the president of the Coalition of 100 Black Women Los Angeles chapter. And we are all gathered here today, as my pastor says, to provide you with as much information that you will need for you, a family member, a coworker, a potential participant, anything and everything that you will need to know regarding our youth mentorship information session. And as I mentioned in the chat, we are going to record it. We're going to also plug this information on our YouTube channel. And for all of those that pre-registered through our Zoom registration, then we'll also provide you with the PowerPoint that we're going to go through. Sound like a good use of time, everyone? So why don't I turn it over to our first Vice President of Programs, Kimberly Watson, to introduce us and briefly give you an overview of our agenda this evening.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly Watson, and I am the First Vice President of Programs. I'm so excited to see you all here for our mentoring informational session. And we are going to do an overview of our organization, who we are, what we do, and our programs. But first, I want to introduce our committee members. And we have two of our committee members here. But we also have another, her name is Phaedra Croft, and she's been a member of the coalition for over 10 years. Her background is in K-12 education. She is a member of the Education Committee. She's on our board of directors and currently serves as our official secretary. We do have another chapter member who is not currently on yet, I don't think, Dr. Green. Dr. Lydia Green is one of 3 medical doctors in our chapters, and she has recently served as chair of our Education Committee, and she currently sits on the National Education Committee. And then our newest member is Dr. Maisha Jones. Welcome. So this is her first season on the Education Committee, but she is not new to the world of education. She is a professor at Los Angeles Southwest College and is currently on their administrative team. So, and we have our illustrious president, Dr. Carmen Downs. Welcome. She has been a member of our chapter for 8 years now. And we are excited that she has brought in a whole new breath of life into our organizations, just empowerment and working with all of our members to develop their leadership, and also with our mentoring program. And what we're doing this year is going to be a little bit different than what we've done in the past. And we have a lot of that to thank to our president, Dr. Downs. So I am used to working on 2 different screens, and today I'm just working on one, so bear with me. So our vision, mission, our bedrock. So the National Coalition of 100 Black Women is a national organization that has been advocating on behalf of Black women and girls since 1970. Our vision is to see a world where Black women and girls live in a world where socioeconomic inequity does not exist. And our mission is to advocate on behalf of Black women and girls to promote leadership, development, gender equity, and in the areas of health, education, public policy, and economic empowerment. Next. So our organization has been advocating on behalf of Black women and girls since 1970. We have 64 chapters in 25 states, and 7 of them are here in California. We are in Los Angeles, Orange County, Oakland, San Francisco, Sacramento, Silicon Valley, and our newest chapter is in the Central Valley. And so we have currently been, I guess this is our 36th year. And initially our chapter consisted of primarily elected officials, policymakers, and attorneys. So as the needs of our community expanded, so has our membership. And we are very proud of our history. Our chapter was founded by Joan Sutter and Los Angeles County Supervisor Yvonne Burke. Today, we have several members who have been here since the early days, and we look to them to continue our legacy as we develop new programs and activities. But one thing has remained constant: our advocacy efforts to ensure that our girls have the opportunity to experience things that go beyond the offerings in their classrooms. And that is what brings us here today. Next slide.
Thank you so much, VP Watson. I appreciate that. One of the reasons that we wanted to provide you all with a high-level overview of the organization, because it's important to understand not only our foundation, but our advocacy priorities. And those priorities fall into 4 key areas from a national perspective. These are our guardrails. These are our North Star. Any chapter within the Coalition of 100 Black Women has these same pillars or advocacy pillars that we all strive for. They're in 4 key areas. First, our health initiative. We do have a dedicated committee of coalition sisters that really focus on imparting knowledge in the Los Angeles community that's focused on childhood family obesity, metabolic syndrome, and a variety of cancer disparities. And we're also expanding our efforts around mental illness. I'm going to come back to education, which we're all here for this evening, but also financial literacy or economic empowerment. The national organization has a curriculum or a trademark curriculum referred to as Sisternomics, and that is in part really focused on financial literacy. Whether you are a Black girl, you're just starting out with understanding money management or investing, or you're just about to graduate college, or you're about to start your business, or you want to grow your business. So those key areas are within Sisternomics, financial literacy. We're also adding this year pay equity, and we're also focusing on how do we ensure that we drive equitable wages and employment within Black girls and women. And then, of course, public policy. We are an advocacy organization, not a community service organization. And this latest cycle of voter registration and engagement is one that we drive toward. But we also, in our programming, focus on ensuring that the community is aware of legislation that may impact our community. And then also education, which is why we're here today. Within our educational initiative from a national standpoint, very simplistically, we are focused on eliminating the disparities that affect our Black girls and their ability to achieve great academic achievements, I should say. We also want to strive for all that we do to improve graduation rates. But we don't just focus on 4-year college, we focus on college preparation, whether it be 2 years, whether it be 4 years, as well as vocational college. We also really drive toward HBCU support and recognition, but also our local colleges here in California. And really the foundation of our educational initiatives focus predominantly on mentoring and STEAM, which we'll get a little bit more involved in. And this is really, really meant this evening to be engaging. We don't want to just throw a lot of information. So if at any point in time, anyone, I promise you, any question we would welcome any questions that you have. Okay. Kimberly, I think I'm back to you.
Okay, so we have 2 components that make up our education imperatives: mentoring and STEAM. So our objective will focus on creating opportunities to introduce our girls to academic and real-world experiences. So we have worked with several other nonprofits to complement their learning to allow us to reach girls throughout the greater Los Angeles area. We are able to collaborate and pool our resources in a way that really fosters the development and community building. And we know that many of you are part of other mentoring, after school or specialty programs. And we want you to continue to be able to do what you love and not have to compete for your attention. So that's why our programs are really centered around very short workshop format. We're also going to be doing a hybrid format. So Our mentoring covers a number of topics. Our STEAM is a little more focused. We have several technology pieces, but all of it is really to enhance your learning and to provide you with additional projects, additional learning systems, additional supports. And let me get the next slide. Okay. And so we're going to focus on the mentoring program. And our mentoring program really started in the early 2000s. When we first started, we were a community after school program, and it was centered around the K-5 system. And over the years, we've evolved, and our programs are now across industry. So we are in health, we're in education, we're in business, in banking, in entertainment. And our participants range in age from 8 all the way to 18. But we've divided our programs so that all the materials and the presentations are age appropriate, so the girls can really get the most out of their experience. And during the pandemic, we met on Zoom. And like everyone, we had to learn how to pivot. So this year we are following a hybrid model, because what we found during the pandemic is that the convenience of virtual really appealed to a lot of parents. But then we also noticed that there are just some activities that are better in person. And so we have several of our mentoring sessions that will be in person. Some of our partners, like Fly Compton, which is an aeronautical program that's based at the Compton Airport, will also be in person. And we do several of our college-bound projects that are going to be in person. We will be attending the Black College Fair, and we have a partnership with the Los Angeles Major League Soccer team, the Major League Soccer, and our LA soccer team, the Los Angeles Football Club. We actually got tickets last year to go to the games. So we have a number of events. Some of them will be in person, some of them will be via Zoom, but all of them are going to be enriching, engaging, and exciting. Next slide.
So here's where the fun part begins. I am so excited for like the next second part of this conversation, because this is where it is my goal as president that you really walk away understanding the program and what it has to offer your child, or what it has to offer a family member. But first, really understand our vision. And at this point, through any of the remaining slides, because we know you will all be ecstatic about the program, you can at any point in time use the QR code on the screens to provide some additional information to join the program. But here's our vision for the program, and here's where we differ in comparison to perhaps other organizations that you may be familiar with. So first, we have a strategy where we differentiate topics. And you may find that for your particular child, one particular track or topic is most of interest to you than perhaps another. So you have the ability to select from what we refer to as youth tracks. And we have several of those. Health, which Vice President Kimberly Watson will explain a little bit more about. And it's not only focused on the health of our Black girls, but also their physical and mental health. We also, within our track, will provide a focus on money management and financial literacy. So again, that is starting at the very, very basic money management level, introduction of financial literacy to your child, all the way through investment. We also have a track where it's focused on STEM and or STEAM, where our goal is to expose our children, our young Black girls, to STEM related activities. We'll get a little bit more into two programs that have been extremely successful. And then another track that you may decide is most of interest to you than anything else, and that is college-bound or vocational school readiness. So our goal within that track is to provide parents and mentees with information on what are the schools, What are the entry requirements? What is the opportunity for scholarships or financial aids? And how can we help you to ready your child for their future, their continuation of their academic journey? So we differentiate in comparison to other programs because you can select which track is most beneficial for you. We also aim to have rotating sessions. And what that means is we focus on 4 to 6 to 8 week series. So if you happen to miss one, then right at the start of the next, you can join another. So our sessions, our tracks are meant to be short in nature, impactful, comprehensive in nature, but should you miss one, then we can make sure that you have an understanding of when the next series rolls around. And as First VP Watson alluded to, we have a program delivery approach that is both in person, virtual 100%, or a hybrid of both. I'm really pleased that we were able to really strengthen how we deliver program virtually over the pandemic, because it gives us an opportunity to meet the parent and or their child where they are. Whatever works best for you to receive the learning, again, in any of those 3 formats is what we focus on. We also focus on mentee groups and not one-to-one mentoring, because we believe in experiential learning. Our queens will learn from perhaps their peer mentee. So we mentor in group settings. We also want to make sure that you walk away understanding all resources, all materials are provided at no cost to the parent. And you're probably thinking, how do we do that? So we're going to talk a little bit about who our partners are as well. We also want you to understand that should your child belong to a school, we are looking to expand our partnerships. So should you have an opportunity for your child to be mentored because we've adopted that school, we're going to go that route as well. But we are delivering our program in this type of setting and framework because we think it's the most flexible and we think it's the most impactful for our young Black girls. Any questions, Dr. Jones, in the chat? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what we refer to as youth tracks. VP Watson, do you want to talk about Girl Talk conversations?
Yes. So Girl Talk conversations are going to be small group chats. It'll be led by a facilitator that is a subject matter expert. And what we really wanted to do is take some time to really do a deep dive in several areas that are health related, that talk about their wellness and their financial literacy. And so the first one, did you know, that is going to be really health focused. And so we'll talk about nutrition, we'll talk about fitness. We will give them opportunities to understand how to eat, what to eat, and body image and self-esteem. And then how all those things work with their mental health in terms of building relationships, whether it's relationships with family or friends, and then stress management. And we know the older the girls get, the more their stress level gets. And then you add in that layer of puberty and just becoming, their transition from middle school to high school or from high school into college. There's a lot going on with the girls, and we want to help them understand what's going on and how to handle it so that they can go into that next stage of their life, whatever it is, at their most healthy best. Then we have the area called Keeping It Real. And Keep It Real is really focused around our public policy. And so we want to talk about issues that they have to deal with, but more from an advocacy standpoint, making sure that they are aware, making sure that they know how to handle things. And then also parents, we want you to understand what's going on, because there are a lot of things that the kids are exposed to or experiencing, especially via social media. And if your kids have phones, you might not be privy to as much as you think you are. So we want to make sure that we are looping the parents in and that everyone knows what's going on. So that's going to be our Keep It Real. And then Empower. Empower really is our financial literacy component. And we are so excited because we are partnering with actually all of our 7 chapters in California. And we have funding from Chase, we have funding from Citibank, US Bank, to make sure that our girls really know how to manage their money. And speaking of managing money, our first session is going to start in January. And we're going to talk about money management, how to budget, how to save, how to establish and maintain good credit. And for our young entrepreneurs, we're going to talk about business development and how they can actually be able to transition from maybe mom and dad helping them to being able to run their business themselves and be bank ready so that when they're 18 and ready to step out and take over, they can. And so all of these topics are going to be age appropriate. Some of them will invite all the girls to participate. So things that are topics like nutrition and fitness, that's going to be for everyone. But when we have topics like maybe body image and self-esteem, those might be geared more toward the older girls. Some of the topics, we're going to encourage parents to participate. We really want you to be part of that conversation. We want you to know what's going on. We want you to hear from them what's happening. So some of our sex trafficking topics and even money management, because there's so much that we didn't learn in school. And now that we know better, we can do better. So we're going to be encouraging the parents to participate in several of our topics coming up. And the first one that we're going to have is in January. And so you'll be able to sign up for that. And it's going to be our money management. Can we get the next slide?
Sure. Any questions in the chat, Dr. Jones, before we move on? No? Okay, let's talk about our next youth track, which is STEAM and basics. And this track, again, and I'm not sure that we called it out, but our mentoring program is focused on girls from 9 to 16. So I'm excited, I'm ecstatic about this particular track because it really begins to expose our young girls to STEM field, but also exposes them to careers associated with it. So first, our aviation program. We have a partnership with Fly Compton where they provide, I should say, not me, where they provide year-round, in-person, an understanding of aviation. I know that we said earlier that our tracks are delivered in a hybrid. This is the only program that is delivered in person, and it is at their facility. I am so very impressed with this program. They have instructors that look like us that really impart a significant amount of knowledge to our young boys and our young girls. And then everyone can code through a national partnership with Apple. The National Coalition of 100 Black Women gives an opportunity to both actually boys and girls with coding experience. This is a perfect example of a virtual program that's delivered in 8-week sessions. Last week, we ended the first in this particular fall. The next sessions will begin sometime in February. This is ideal for a parent who wishes to provide their child exposure to coding. Again, this session is delivered virtually, and this is the only segment of our program that is also offered to young boys as well. Any questions on the aviation program or everyone can code? And I should mention, I'm sorry, if I didn't, the aviation program is a year-round program, but we're able to add children at any point in time throughout the series. Is Dr. Green on the call? Dr. Green, you're there. Are you able to speak, yes. Dr. Green? Okay, Dr. Green is
yes, I am.
Dr. Green is an expert for the aviation program. Did you want to add anything? I'm sure I missed something.
No, you covered it wonderfully. Their year goes from January to December, and it encompasses parents and children at the appropriate age categories, and it's in 2 levels, and they get to go up in the planes specifically, and go. And just last weekend, we had a lot of fun where we answered trivia questions or flight-related trivia questions. And there were prizes, and there were parents and children involved as teams. And it was really a team building activity to involve both the parents and the children. A lot of fun is had in that area.
Thank you so much, Dr. Green. Appreciate that. And one of the things that we wanted to emphasize, especially for this particular track, is that we will supplement your child's exposure with individuals that are in the profession. So whether they are pilots, whether they are working for the airlines in any capacity, is what we will be adding to this particular track. So it gives our young Black girls not only some exposure to this particular segment, but it also associates it with occupation and career opportunities for them as well. Kimberly, back to you.
Okay. So the next track is decisions. And this is our vocational and college-bound readiness. So while we know that formal education is very important, we also know that everyone has a different learning style. And if your child is like my oldest was, we could not find a teacher whose teaching style matched her learning style. So for her, college was not part of her aspiration. She dreaded school. And so we had to really focus on life after school. And so in my, I guess, almost 20 years in education, and I've worked in K-12 programs, I've worked in higher ed, and I found that the schools are not really preparing our students for the workforce. So that's where decisions comes in. And we will be doing job readiness. We will be teaching them how to write resumes and interview skills, all those things they need to get the job. And then we're also going to focus on those soft skills, how to speak, what to wear, the importance of getting to work on time, all those things they need to keep the job. And for many of our students that are 14 and up, they will be at a point where they may be ready to start working. And so there are several programs that we'll be partnering with the city of Los Angeles that are job placement programs. And it puts them in an opportunity to either do an internship or a very short-term employment with companies that are in industries across the spectrum. So they'll be able to get some hands-on real-world experience in the job market while they're still young at companies that can appreciate that they are learning and still developing. And then for our college-bound folks, we are going to really help you to navigate this financial situation, because right now, oh my gosh, college is so expensive. But there are so many scholarships out there. There are so many programs out there. And for many, especially the first-time college parents, this can be really overwhelming. So we hope to help you really navigate that and connect you with programs, connect you with speakers, connect you with different resources that will help you to understand the what and the how. And then we're going to look at California colleges and HBCUs. And I really want to help us focus on the California colleges, because there are so many programs in California that will pay for college. So we have the California Promise. They're going to pay for the first 2 years of college, but we want to make sure that these opportunities exist. We want to make sure that your daughters have a chance to go to college fairs and talk to college counselors, talk to different reps from different schools, so that you can see for yourself, what is the difference? Why should I choose a California school? Or why should I choose an HBCU? What is going to be right for my child? And then at the very end, we have had, and we're changing a little bit how we do the trunk parties. Trunk parties are super fun, and they are for our high school students. And it's really a chance, it's kind of like a baby shower, but for our high school students that are going off to college, and it's giving them that what to expect. What's going on? What do I have to look forward to? What should I be wary of? Who should I know? What's happening on the different campuses, and how do I be a part? And for you parents, it's how to make sure you stay connected with your child, because once they get to that adult stage and they're ready to go off on their own, sometimes they're like, okay, I'm out of here, see ya. but we want to make sure that they stay connected, and then their experience and your experience is amazing. So that's going to be our decisions track. And lastly, we will continue to follow all the COVID protocols in accordance with LA County and the national guidelines. We want to make sure everyone's experience is a positive experience. We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to help everyone stay safe. And all of our sessions are in the group format, as Dr. Downs explained. We really want to make sure that all of our girls have the best opportunity to be exposed to the most, and they have a chance to learn from each other. And then parents, we are going to want to meet with you as well. So we have a couple workshops that are just going to be parent only. And it's really for you to provide feedback to us. But it's also a chance for us to talk about some topics that may be important to parents, but better delivered in an all-adult environment. So some of them will be for you to give feedback to us. Some of them will be for us to give feedback to you. But all of the topics, no matter what they are going to be fun, engaging. And you'll see in the corner, we have the QR code. So if you could just take a minute and register. But once you click on the QR code, you'll be directed to our Linktree site, and then you'll be able to choose youth mentoring. And from then, we'll be able to get all of your information. We'll forward you the application packet, all of the consent forms, and then we'll go through the calendar. We'll go through all of the upcoming events, make sure you get registered, and that's it.
You were on a roll. All righty. So it was really my hope this evening that we provided you with an overview, kind of a breadth of all of the critical elements of our mentorship program. What we've tried to do is also distinguish where we may be different from other organizations that you may be involved in. I know it was a lot of information, but we will make sure that we have this recording on our YouTube channel, as well as give you the PowerPoint. But what questions do you have? I know it was a lot of information. What questions do you have on anything that we covered this evening? And I promise not to call on you, Miss Amira, unless you want me to. I'm kidding. So what questions does anyone have? Miss Barnett, are you talking to me or are you talking? I think you're talking to someone else. Miss Baines, yes.
Hi, ladies. I'm staying off camera because I still, like I said, I don't feel very well.
Okay.
But I think I may have joined this presentation wrongly, but I would like to be a mentor. I currently work at UCLA in undergraduate admission, and I have not obtained my membership with you all yet. I was hoping that this was a way for me to learn about the organization. So I've already touched bases with Maisha, and hopefully she'll give me more info, but I am available to be a mentor.
Well,
if that is an option, teaching, presenting, whatever that is. So that's what I wanted to say. So my question was, maybe, are you having any sessions about that?
We will definitely follow up with you. You know what, I always believe in fate, right? So you were called here this evening for the right reason. I did plug into the chat just our email address for membership information. And I promised to work with that chair to get some information back to you on mentoring. But thank you so much for joining us. And I'm sure that you have friends, colleagues, family members that have young Black queens. So you now have all the information you need to pass it to them. Okay.
Thank you so very much.
No, thank you for joining us.
Dr. Downs, can you drop the link to join just in case there were students, potential mentees that want to join later that aren't here tonight? Is there a link, or are we just using the QR code?
Oh, let me get it for you right now.
Perfect, thank you.
Are there any questions on anything that maybe we had not covered? And Miss Barnett, I see you talking. Are you talking to us or are you talking? I think she may be talking to someone else. Is she talking to us? I think she may be talking to someone else. No questions from anyone. Miss Barfield, did you have any questions?
Hi, good evening. I'm sorry I joined late, but my daughter's on here, Amira Lodra. I see that my niece is on here with her camera and the two young girls on the screen. Now, to move forward, and I apologize if you already answered this question, how is the application process?
So the application process, to Dr. Jones's request, I just plugged in a link into our chat. And since you all registered through our Zoom, I'm assuming that we have your email address. So I'll also email this link to you, and I'll email the PowerPoint. And you'll see that that link will take you to a link tree, and you'll see an option there, Youth Mentoring Interest. So that is where we're going to send the application packet, and to VP Watson's earlier comment, all of the forms. And then what that will do is give you a calendar of when the respective tracks will begin. And then we're going to schedule a kickoff meeting with the parents and the mentees, at least on the first track. And then we'll do that repeatedly throughout our programming year, which is starting in 23.
Thank you so much.
Sure, not a problem. And we also are planning, we're just pulling the final details together, but we are going to plan just for parents to maybe get some exposure to our group mentoring approach. We're planning one day next week, a vision board. I'll call it a vision board party for our young Black queens. And it gives you some insight. It'll give you and your child some insight into how we approach mentoring. And we thought that might be nice for the Thanksgiving week, given some of our youth will be out of school. So you'll see that. We'll also make sure that those that registered got an invitation, and we'll also post it on our social media platforms. Okay, marvelous. Any other questions for any of us?
I have a question, and Fabra asked me to pose this question to the parents who were here. Did you have a preference for the vision board party to happen during the week, leading up to Thanksgiving, or on the weekend? So was there a preference for either or? Because I know some schools are out, and having that structured time is great. But then some parents are going to be out of town or visiting family, and it's going to be really hectic. So after Thanksgiving would be better. So is there a preference? How many people would prefer during the week versus on the weekend?
I'm open, either or.
Okay.
And Ms. Baines, if you were helping, would you prefer?
I was unsure if I was supposed to answer, but I'm open for either or as well.
Right.
Thank you.
Not a problem, not a problem. All righty. Well, we will not keep you any longer. Again, we hope that we've just imparted an overview for you, a good understanding of the approach that we're taking with our programs. We will most likely have another one of these before the end of the year. We'll do them frequently throughout next year, but please stay connected to our social media platforms, to our website, because we will always send out pre-registration for any of the tracks. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate you. Thank you. Good night. Have a really good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Could the committee stay on for me, please?
Absolutely.